Hi guys, up until this point we've just done some recap of the straight line geometry. So in this video we're just going to go into a little bit more difficult examples, something more more on grade 9 level. Alright, so please will you copy this example into your book. You can rule off after yesterday's work and after 10.1 and 10.2, and then yeah, once you've copied this down you can carry on with the video. Okay, so if you know how to calculate this already. So we're trying to calculate the value of A, B, and C. We're always trying to calculate the value of the small letters. So we don't need to calculate N, P, O, M. Those are just labels. If you really know how to do it, you can go and do it by yourself and then just watch to see the answer. Cool, so I'm going to start with A. Alright, with A, I can see that there's a straight line there, so I can use angles on a straight line. So I know that angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So there's my statement, A plus 45 is 180. Reason, angles on a straight line. Then I would solve for A by subtracting the 45 to get 135 degrees. Okay, so now I know that A is equal to 135. I would suggest that at this point that you go and you fill in 135 by A on your diagram. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to work to try and find out B. So these are at two separate points. So I know that I'm going to have to use my parallel line reasoning. So either corresponding, co-interior, or alternating. Okay, if you have a look, you're working with corresponding. There's your F shape, so it's upside down. Okay, so I know that corresponding angles are equal to each other. So B equals 135. There's my reason. Corresponding angles equal because MN is parallel to OP. Don't forget your parallel lines. And then once I've got that, I'm going to fill in B as 135. And now if you have a look, there's your X shape. So angles at one point, your X shape, so you've got vertically opposite angles. And I know that those are equal to each other. They don't add up to 180, they're equal. So I can say 5C is equal to 135 vertically opposite angles. But you're not done. They're not trying to find out 5C, you're trying to find out C. So divide through by your 5, and you're going to get C is equal to 27 degrees. Okay, there's 4 of these examples. Alright, example number 2. Please will you copy it down before we start. Alright, example number 2 looks a little bit more complicated than it is. Because it looks like you don't have enough information, like you don't have that one, you don't have that one. You don't need to go and fill in anything. What you can do is you can just take a highlighter and highlight on the diagram. There's your X shape. Okay, so those two angles will be equal to each other because they are vertically opposite to each other. So I'm going to have X plus 15 is equal to 140. Angles equal. Then I can just subtract the 15 and I'm going to get X is 125. Okay, so if that angle is split, you just have to add them together. Right, let's have a look at example number 3. Okay, this is what it looks like. And you need to calculate X and you need to calculate Y in this one here. Alright, I'm going to start by calculating X. Okay, so I've filled in my F shape, so I know that those two angles are equal to each other because they're corresponding to each other. So that if you can see your F, it's like kind of backwards and upside down. So they're equal to each other. So 3x plus 10, which is this angle here, is equal to 40. Corresponding angles are equal because those parallel lines are equal. Those parallel lines are parallel. Then I can just take the 10 over and subtract it, which will give me 30. Divide through by the 3 and you're going to get X is equal to 10. Alright, then if you wanted to go and fill in like the angles and stuff, you could, but you don't need to. So now you're trying to work out Y. The fastest way that I could see that you could work it out would be to use your Z shape. Alright, so I know that those two angles are equal to each other because they're alternating. So that's your N or your Z. So they're equal to each other, right? So whatever's written here must be equal to whatever's written there. So 3y plus 20 is equal to 4y. There's your reason. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to get my like terms. So I'm going to keep the 20 on this side. I'm going to bring the 3y over and subtract it. So 4y minus 3y will give me just y. So y is equal to 20 degrees. And then my last example, which is example number 4. Please will you copy it down before we start again? Alright, so the first thing that you need to know is that they tell you it's a rhombus. Okay, so in a rhombus, you know that opposite sides are equal. Actually, all sides are equal. Opposite sides are parallel. In a rhombus, you also know that the angles are bisected by the diagonals. So this angle, which was 2y, is now y and y. Okay, I'm going to start by working out y because I think it's the easiest. So if you have a look at your Z shape there, 25 will be equal to y because of alternating angles. So I can write that down, so that's done. Please don't forget your parallel lines. Your parallel lines are super important. Alright, then I've got y is equal to 25, so I can fill in 25 wherever there's a y, so that's what I'm going to do. Right, now I'm going to work out z using that straight line there, so angles on a straight line add up to 180. So this plus the 25 plus the 25 all adds up to 180. Reason, angles on a straight line. Okay, then it's up to you whether you decide to add like terms first and then subtract, or just take everything over and subtract. I'm just going to add my like terms first. So 10 plus 25 is 60. Subtract the 60 on the other side, so 180 minus 60 will be equal to 120. I still need to find z alone, so I'm going to divide through by the 2, and I'm going to say 120 divided by 2 is 60, so z is equal to 60. Okay. Alright, then it's up to you what you do now. I went back to some grade 8 stuff, so I decided to work with angles in a triangle. So I'm working in that triangle there. And I know that angles in a triangle add up to what? 180 degrees. Okay, so if I say x plus 90 plus 25, I know that that equals 180 degrees, angles in a triangle, and then I can just solve for x. Alright, so I find that x is equal to 65 degrees. Okay, so those are the 4 examples that I gave you. This is for homework, exercise 10.3 on page 91. If you don't have a textbook, this is number 1. So if you want to take some screenshots, this is number 1. This is number 2. So you have to determine the values. And this here is number 3. Okay, good luck.